round number 6 coming up here. We got Joshua with the Arcdura versus Luke with the Lugia. And I think I definitely give the edge to this one a little bit. I give it the edge slightly to Joshua, I think. I don't know how much. I think it is Dark Arcdura favored a little bit. Maybe not. It's probably about 50-50 to be honest. Yeah, it's probably about 50-50. Probably about 50-50. It looks like Luke does play the Tool Jammer. So that means Luke can put that on the Yveltal and then use the Yveltal plus the Tool Jammer to get around Big Parasol and knock out a Duraludon. Unfortunately for Luke, the Jammer's in the last 2 prize cards, so it's going to be tough to get to. Some other funky things that you can have in this matchup for the Lugia. This matchup basically just comes down to what does the Lugia player play. Canceling Cologne, Choice Spell plus Canceling Cologne, Choice Spell plus Pat to the Peak, Vacuums, Tool Jammer, like all those things get you to win the matchup, but yeah, and we got to find them all at the right times. So we'll see. Going first is also a pretty big deal in the matchup as well. So we'll see who's going first. Going first is a huge deal. If Lugia goes first, they can just kind of run over the Duraludon player and never give them a chance. VSTAR is not going to be great, but it does look like Joshua is the one going first. I don't know if there's an energy in the opening hand for Joshua, though. So that'll be tough. It does have the Ultra Ball to get the Dura. And sometimes you can literally just win this game if you get out a Duraludon VMAX. If you get out a Duraludon VMAX with, excuse me, if you get out a Duraludon VMAX with a Parasol, sometimes that just literally wins you the game. So it looks like Joshua's got a decent amount of spice in the build as well. Plays the Temple of Sinnoh, plays the Karen's Conviction. A decent amount of spice here for Joshua as well. Not a super vanilla build, got some options in it. All right, goes for the Duraludon V. But like I said, I think there's a lack of energy in the hand here for Joshua, unfortunately. And yeah, it's going to be the pass. No energy turn 1. It's a pretty big deal to whiff the turn 1 energy. We'll see how good of a start Luke has, though. Has a Lugia. It's looking pretty good for Luke, actually. Does kind of want to leave the Punkaboo in the active here, though. So you could, like, capture and get, like, Guru and maybe Birdkeeper into Guru. Basically, you don't really want your Lugia to get punched. It kind of depends on the build. This does open up the Read the Wind, though, so this might not be too big of a deal for Luke, depending on the build. Like, if you don't care about your powerful energy getting removed from play, because theoretically, if you play Canceling Cologne, you can go, like, Canceling Cologne plus Quad Powerful plus Choice Belt, and then KO. A one-hit KO with Duraludon VMAX, so Canceling Cologne's pretty good for this matchup. See, Luke's checking the energy and the Pokemon. Plays Raikou for sure, as we see the Speed Lightning. There's the Yveltal. Double Tool Jammer. All right, so double Tool Jammer for Luke. That is definitely cool. So even with one of them prized, did I see that? I think that was second Tool Jammer. That was definitely second Tool Jammer. So double Tool Jammer for Luke. So can still pull off the Yveltal play. Get around that big Parasol of Joshua. At some point, so needs to find it though. Needs to find the Tool Jammer. That's gonna be the hard part, is finding the Tool Jammer, to be honest. All right, grabs an Archeops. Gonna quick ball it away, or Ultra Ball. Actually, there's an Ultra Ball in the hand. I could go ahead and grab the Lugia VSTAR. You are up against Arceus Duraludon. Arceus Duraludon does play Marnie, so you probably want to prep to deal with this Marnie, but if you're going to use Read the Wind, I guess you can't really prep for the Marnie anyways, can you? So maybe grabbing Guru just doesn't make a whole ton of sense here, to be honest. You could put like a Quick Ball back in the deck. No, but you're always going to like search through the... Well, you could like Primate Wisdom, a Quick Ball. So one thing you could do here to kind of prep for Marnie as Luke is you could Primate Wisdom, a Quick Ball, then play the Capture, shuffle the deck, and then there's a Quick Ball shuffled into the deck. But if you Primate Wisdom and then just use Read the Wind, you're just drawing the card you put on top of the deck anyway. So you could like try and shuffle a card back to the deck and then hope to not draw back into it. Would be a play here from Luke, to be honest, to like get a little bit more gas in the deck to draw into potentially off of Marnie. I don't think it makes a big difference one way or the other. I don't even know if you want Guru on your bench here overall, because you want room for double Archeops plus potentially Yveltal plus potentially Luminion, so... I don't even know if you want Guru on your bench here, to be honest, as Luke. I don't even know if I like this Guru on the bench. I don't think I do, actually, to be honest. But we do see the deck getting shuffled up afterwards. They put the powerful energy back into the deck. I don't see. I actually like. I think putting the Quick Ball back into the deck makes a little bit more sense. Oh, wait, I don't think Luke's played a draw supporter yet. I think Luke can still play a supporter here, actually. I didn't even realize that. Luke still hasn't played a supporter yet this turn. Although, to be honest, I wouldn't play a supporter this turn as Luke. You don't need to play a supporter this turn as Luke. The Ultra Ball should have just grabbed Luke, the Lugia V-Star, and then they just should have just used Read the Wind. They might still end up just using Read the Wind at the end of this turn, but I think they should have a Lugia V-Star in their hand. What did they Ultra Ball for? They Ultra Ball for the... Oh, they used Bird Keeper. That's right. He played Bird Keeper. It's been a long turn. It's been a long turn. I'm kind of tired. Kind of out of it. Yeah, I'm kind of tired. I'm kind of out of it. They did. That's right. Okay, and here comes the Read the Wind. All right, we're chilling. We're chilling. Remember Pumpkaboo? Yeah, I remember now. I remember. It's been a long turn. It's been a long turn. I got all the excuses prepared. Okay. Pokegear from Joshua. Not good. Still has the Star Birth to work with. This is just kind of unfortunate for Joshua, though. It's like a bad draw. It's actually going to be interesting what Joshua decides to do here, because if you set up the Arceus... So one play Joshua could have done, actually. I'll talk about this real fast. So Joshua chose to Ultra Ball away the other Arceus V out of the hand. One thing Joshua could have done was bench that Arceus V, and then next turn evolve that Arceus V to the V-Star, and then Trinity Charge with the active Arceus V. But now this setup here from Joshua is really awkward, because if you don't evolve the V to the V-Star, you don't get to use Starbirth. And now Joshua's hand is dead, so you have to do that. So I actually think Joshua probably last turn should have benched the Arceus V. You don't win very often with a double Arceus board up against the Lugia deck. Like, that makes your game plans a lot harder. But I think it's probably would have been correct to go with. It looks like Joshua's going with the Mustard play now, which I kind of like the Mustard. The Mustard's kind of sick. The Mustard's kind of cool. But even then, we're still hoping that the Arceus like survives a turn, which is pretty unlikely. So I don't know how likely it is that the Arceus even survives a turn. But I think, yeah, so Joshua's going to play the Escape Rope, send up a Duraludon VMAX to make things awkward for Luke, I guess. So we're going to see the Escape Rope come down here. Yeah, this could make things awkward enough, actually. This could make things awkward enough. So this is a missequence from Joshua. It doesn't matter too much in the grand scheme of things, but once Joshua looks at their hand and realizes, oh, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to do this Mustard play. I think you should probably play the Escape. You should use Starbirth and then immediately play the Escape Rope, just to give Luke the least amount of information as possible. Now, you could Escape Rope before you use Starbirth as well. That would be an interesting choice, but I think probably using Starbirth first, then playing Escape Rope gives your opponent like the least amount of information, but also the maximum amount of false information, as like, oh, they just used Starbirth and then played Escape Rope. Did they get Escape Rope off Starbirth? What else is happening here? What should I send up? And it's Pumpkaboo versus a Rankaroo that's being sent up. So in this situation, it doesn't really matter too much, but that's just generally how you want to sequence Escape Rope, just for like future plays. In this situation, it doesn't really matter too much when Joshua plays the Escape Rope, but the optimal way to sequence the Escape Rope, I think, here would have been Starbirth, then Escape Rope, then play out the Mustard sequence, and don't even attach the double turbo yet. Like, give Luke as little information as possible. Like I said, in this situation, it probably doesn't matter too much, but here we are. Okay, so Joshua is hiding behind a Duraludon right now, which is actually this creates an interesting board state for Joshua. To be honest, this actually creates a really interesting board state for Joshua, especially if Joshua draws well enough to find the Parasols, and then also like find Switch plus energy, not this turn, but next turn, or even like a turn like in the near future. Like I think Joshua could probably whiff for a turn and be okay, because there's a lot of pressure on Luke to like actually, because Luke can't attack with Yveltal into Duraludon this turn, or Joshua just responds with Arceus knockout Yveltal, and then Joshua just wins the game. So Luke has to like find a way to like chase down the Luke has to find a way to chase down that Arceus off the bench. That's Luke's goal here, is chase the Arceus. And I think it would have been possible for Luke, but once again, oh no, never mind. Got the Evolution Incense. Never mind. Got the Evolution Incense. So I think it is possible for Luke to go Gust KO. I think it is possible for Luke to go Gust KO on the Arceus on the bench. So what Luke has to do here would be Primate Wisdom into a powerful energy or a double turbo energy. And then Luke has the Luminion for Gust KO on Arceus. That would fill Luke's bench with Luminion, Arceus, or Archeops. But then the following turn, Luke could shuffle Luminion back to the deck and then go into Yveltal to start to take out the Duraludons. So Luke this turn, I think, should start with Primate Wisdom away the Charizard, because if you get one of those energy cards, if you get Double Turbo or Boss, if you get Double Turbo or Powerful, the Lugia, you can get both Archeops out, and then Lugia KOs the Arceus. And if you whiff, you just play the Marnie and then go from there. And you probably put everything else back into the deck. There's Luminion to start with, though, from Luke. So Luke goes for the... Wait, what? All right. You have to bench Yveltal Jammer here. Okay, so... Well, you can't do anything this turn now as Luke. Okay, so now Luke... Okay, this is fine. This is fine. Well, I don't know. This is awkward. This is really awkward. Because Joshua has no reason to take a knockout until Joshua can knock out the Yveltal. Joshua has no reason to take a KO. Like, at all. I think they're just trying to figure out if Luke's deck is random currently or not. Yeah, so Joshua has no incentive to take a knockout anymore at this point. This is where it gets awkward. This is kind of an awkward play from Luke. This play, I liked the Guru play, where if you get the Powerful or the Double Turbo, all of a sudden you're KOing the Arceus off the bench, and then you have the Yveltal combo in hand as well. This play though is weird because, like I said, like Joshua doesn't have to. It's weird because Joshua doesn't have to KO anything. Even if Joshua has Energy plus Switch next turn, Joshua can wait until they have Switch plus Boss KO the Yveltal, right? So I think Luke is going to be forced to putting lone Archeops in play here soon. Because there's nothing forcing Joshua to play the game the way that Luke wants it to be played, which would be knocking out the Pumpkaboo for Luke. So I'm curious to see. So that's 4 Archeops in the discard pile, right? There was 2 already in there, right? And was I trolling thinking there was 2 Archeops in the discard pile? No, I'm pretty sure there was. So thinking about what to take here, it probably doesn't matter too much what the grab is here from Luke. Basically all the attackers are dead besides Yveltal and Lugia. You need one Lugia, one Oh, okay. And Luke is just getting aggressive. Okay, Luke is just going to get aggressive here. Interesting. I'm curious to see how this plays out. So I think it's actually incorrect though for Luke to go with, unless Luke plays something I don't see yet. So Luke is loading up the Yveltal, but you can't KO with Yveltal here as Luke. Otherwise, you lose the game. You need to set up for Lugia Gust KO first. So with 1 Archeops in play... Oh, and he has the Serena in hand! Wait, could he do it next turn anyways? No, now he can't do it. So this is a misplay here from Luke, right? Hang on, let me just look at the board state one more time so we can calculate this. Okay, so if Luke goes... So the thing is, if Luke goes Yveltal KO Duraludon, Joshua goes Arceus KO Yveltal, and then Luke doesn't have a way to KO another Duraludon. So what Luke has to do is Luke has to KO Joshua's Arceus first and then go into Yveltal KO Duraludons. But because Luke puts 2 energy on the Yveltal here, I think it's impossible for Luke to actually go. It did attach active, but now it's impossible for Luke to actually go Lugia KO Arceus. But if Luke had gone, instead of 2 Aurora to the Yveltal, had gone Arceus for double powerful to the Lugia, and then attach active, then next turn, Luke could go another powerful to the Lugia, attach active, Serena on top of the deck, Serena Gust KO Arceus, and then you just win the game as Luke. But now Luke is just going to lose the game. Could lose the game because of how this plays out. It depends how aggressive Joshua draws. It's possible that Luke just loses from here. I'm talking about Luke doing that on next turn. Arceus KO with Yveltal? Oh shoot, that's true as well though. You could go Yveltal KO Arceus. No, but that's still risky because if Joshua plays Raihan, how risky is that? Is that really that risky? It is still a little bit risky because of the Raihan play from Joshua, I guess. Yeah, I guess you could just go Yveltal KO Archeops. Or Yveltal KO. Yeah, I guess you could just go Yveltal KO Arceus. Maybe I'm overthinking it. Maybe I'm just overthinking it. You could get punished by the Raihan play, but maybe you get punished by the Raihan play no matter what. Yeah, maybe I am just overthinking it. I still like the idea of setting up Lugia first to begin with, but I guess maybe it just doesn't matter. I guess I am just overthinking it. All right. Joshua with the Marnie. Bottom of the deck. Yeah, so Luke can do the same play here now, though. I guess you're right. Yeah, you're right. Oh, wait, but we have a Parasol here from Joshua. Oh, wait, you can Parasol your Arceus now, though, as Joshua. All right. Okay, so actually, maybe my play is still better because Joshua can Parasol the Arceus, which gives Joshua another turn. So I didn't know my play was better until I saw the Parasol. But now that I see the Parasol, if Joshua Parasols the Arceus, then Luke can't take a KO next turn. But you could always take the KO with the Lugia. Jammer? Oh, fudge, the Jammer. No, I guess I'm still just wrong. Never mind. Yeah, I'm always wrong. I forgot about the Jammer, too. It just doesn't matter then. So I guess just Luke just wins here. Luke's just going to go... Luke, yeah, Luke just wins. Luke just wins. Man, I was trying to I was like, no, there's got to be a way. But no, this works fine, too. Yeah, it just always works. Damn it. No, wait a second. But, hold up. No, I think I'm still right. Because I'm still right because if Joshua got Energy Switch, KO Pumpkaboo, load up a Duraludon, and Luke can't respond with Lugia. Luke can't respond with Lugia for a KO unless he finds an extra powerful energy, which he's not guaranteed to find because Archeops can only find 2 powerful energy. So he'd have to draw into a powerful energy, which is still probably pretty likely, to be honest. Yeah, because if Joshua attacks with Arceus here, goes knockout Pumpkaboo, loads up a Duraludon, Luke can't attack with Yveltal unless Luke can't attack with Yveltal there. If he attacks with Yveltal, he loses. And it's possible but Luke still is likely to KO the Lugia because it's not that hard to get triple powerful. You have to just draw into 1 and then Archeops for 2. But if Luke whiffs a powerful in that scenario, then Joshua just wins. So I'm still right because the Lugia play is always just like 100% safe. It's just 100% safe 100% of the time. Whereas the Yveltal play is like there's a risk to it. So the Lugia play is actually still correct. Just not why I thought it was correct initially. I had to walk through a lot of lines of play there to make it correct, but it is correct. Get bodied, chat. Okay, this is still winnable for Joshua if Joshua plays Raihan. So we're going to see the Yveltal knockout on the Arceus. Joshua's going to send up this Duraludon, attach to Duraludon, and then if Luke KOs this Duraludon, we could see Joshua go Raihan to the bench Duraludon and then KO the Yveltal and then win the game. So this is actually still winnable for Joshua. It's just very unlikely to win. So we'll see. Culver's here. Ooh, oh, actually, Temple of Sinnoh. Yo, hold up. Yo, Temple of Sinnoh could win the game, actually. Does Luke actually play a way to bump a stadium besides Pumpkaboo? The Temple of Sinnoh is sneaky. That could be game. Because if you play the double Jammer, there's no way you play Vacuum, right? Maybe you play a Collapsed as Luke. Luke might play a Collapsed Stadium. Let's see. Oh, there it is. Okay, never mind. Yeah, okay, sure. Whatever. Okay, there is a risk to taking the knockout still on the active here as Luke. If you take the knockout on the active Duraludon, Joshua could have Raihan and then knock out the Yveltal and then win the game. So as Luke here, you really want a Gust Effect. Yeah, as Luke here, you really want to get a boss. If you get boss KO or Serena KO, you do just win. Unless Joshua has another Temple of Sinnoh. But I'm guessing Joshua only plays 1 Temple of Sinnoh and probably plays a couple of the Lost Cities for the Reggie and the Lost Box matchup. But we'll see here in a second. Thins out the deck as much as possible, and then here comes the Primate Wisdom. Putting back, goes to the cap, gets an Aurora. Okay, well, I think you still just have to go with it. You just have to go with the KO here. And then hope there is no Raihan. Goodbye, Pumpkin. And there we go. Knockout. Is there a Raihan to be had for Joshua? Top deck. Is there a second Temple of Sinnoh as well? There's another medal there for Joshua. And then we see a boss's orders on the Guru. But I'm sure Luke has 2 energy left. And if not, Luke would have definitely been trolling if Luke does not have 2 energy left. There's Primate Wisdom, 1 energy on top. Drawn to a card. Archeops. And if there's not 2 energy in the deck, there is a 1 in the hand. There's the attached. And there's the quick scoop from Joshua. Love to see it. So I think with double Jammer, I think this is probably unfavorable for Joshua. Double Jammer seems really good in this matchup. So I think... I think going first is a big deal still, because if you go first as the Arceus deck, you can go like turn 2 Trinity Nova into turn 3 Boss KO Archeops, and like never let the Yveltal actually get set up and put into play. So, but because Luke won the coin flip and went first in game 1, going into game 3, even if Luke loses this game, going into game 3, Luke will still be going first. So, definitely give Luke the edge as of right now. Ooh, here comes an Ultra Ball. You don't want to get rid of that Dura V though. Ooh, I don't like that. That hurts. Immediately checks for the mustard. Yeah, getting rid of Dura V. I don't know about that because you want to get down double Dura ASAP. I don't know if that's correct. You could have gotten rid of but getting rid of boss is also pretty bad. There's a lot of things that were bad there, to be honest. I don't know about that though. Would have been nice to just for Joshua to have just had a different dead card and be able to set up double Dura there is like really good. I mean, maybe Joshua just goes for the mustard play on this next turn. That's possible. But if you're going for the mustard play next turn, nah, you're gonna go for the Colress play. That was rough. Maybe you do just get rid of the boss there as Joshua, to be honest, and just keep benched. Like double Dura V is super good going first like that. It's just insanely good. Because you can actually set up a board state as Joshua, where when you use Trinity Nova or Trinity Charge, if you don't have Gust KO on an Archeops on the following turn for your Dura, what you can do is you can just split your energy on your Duraludons, and you can go like fighting, metal, fighting, and then next turn attach a metal to a Duraludon and send up a Duraludon and pass. And then the turn after that, you go attach to metal, attack, or if they KO you with Yveltal, then you go attach to metal, KO Yveltal, and you win the game. So you can just like split up your energy instead of committing them all to one Duraludon. Because like swinging aggressively if you're not KOing an Archeops means like if you're just KOing they're active with your Duraludon VMAX, it just doesn't matter. So why are they playing on the mats? I don't know. I don't like the mats. The mats are super ugly. I'm not gonna lie. The mats are super ugly. Like they should just be playing on the table. Maybe they thought the mats looked better, but they're wrong. The mats are super ugly. All right, Luke going second here. Gonna probably be looking for the read the win at some point. Checking the prize cards right now. No jammers prize this game. Both jammers in the deck, and yeah, we'll see how it goes here for Luke. Dope. Yeah, both jammers in the deck. The jammers are an interesting in the deck because if you tool jammer plus V-Guard energy a Lugia, oof, that thing's living, man. That thing's like living versus like everything. That's like a pretty cool combo, especially like in mirror match or against Mew. Like jammer plus V-Guard energy, you're pretty tanky. Against Mew, you're not KOing their Mew then because you don't have a choice belt. But I don't know, still seems kind of cool. What's my go-to playmat? I use my CCG. I'm sponsored by CCG, so I use their mats at events. What's the point of a slick stream setup if the players are going to clog it with eyesore playmats? Exactly. Pretty sure those mats are supplied by the organizer. Yeah, they're supplied by the organizer, but the organizer should just tell them to use the table because the table looks better. I think the tanky Lugia on a Gust turn is very good against Mew. And not hard to do. Yeah, you can do that against yeah, whenever they would want to gust it up. That's true. All right, they went ahead and got themselves Guru. A Primate Wisdom. Got a V-Guard Energy. V-Guard to Lugia. And we're going in with Luminion. Question is, yeah, what's supported to grab here? It looks like they're eyeing up the research. They would lose a Lugia V-Star here. Actually, what did they Primate Wisdom there? They could have Primate Wisdom the Lugia V-Star, to be honest. And then researched. Instead, going for the Marnie. Okay, so going for the Marnie. Only a 3-card hand here for Joshua. So the Marnie's a little bit interesting, I guess, but I think it's fine. I think it's fine. Here we go. Marnie. Some fresh cards. Gonna look for a Read the Wind to end the turn here for Luke. Probably looking for an Archeops. I think there's only one in the discard pile. Hey, there's 2 Archeops. Why not? And then, yeah, Read the Wind. Draw 3. Evolution Incense and Duraludon and Colress for Joshua. So the hand off that Marnie from Joshua is more than fine. Opens up with the Evolution Incense. Seems fine. Might look for the mustard play, to be honest. Might still look for the mustard play. We'll see. You could go for a switch card plus mustard, but I don't think you can get the hand low enough here from Joshua. So I don't think we're going to see the mustard play here from Joshua. I don't think it's happening. I'd be surprised if it happens. Like I said, this makes things awkward though from Joshua for not benching the other Duraludon V. I don't know. Benching Duraludon V seemed definitely reasonable from Joshua on the previous turn. I don't know. I feel like I would like to have seen that happen. All right. Yo, how does and Marnie? Okay, so not even gonna go with the Cole, we're just gonna go with the Marnie. Probably, I like that though. Luke had a lot of cards in hand. You probably don't stop them from setting up on the next turn, but maybe you do. You never know. Ooh, we got the energy. I thought I saw. Yep, and the switch here actually from Joshua. So we got pretty much everything. Still probably has the VSTAR and grab the Duraludon. VMAX. The question is, what else do you grab here as Joshua? Do you get the VMAX and then what? You could go for the Parasol. You could also go for a boss. I think the boss is a little bit sneaky. And once again, Joshua, this is like poor sequencing from Joshua. Like you could have Luke guessing so much or so little as to what you got. But like the way Joshua sequences was super poor, right? So Joshua has the V-Star here and then plays Switch and Energy before Starbirth. But Joshua could have Starbirth first and then gone Attach Energy, play Switch. And then Luke has like no idea what the heck you got off your Starbirth. Did you get the Energy? Did you get the Switch? Did you get the Duraludon VMAX? I don't know. We don't know what the other card that we're going to get here from Joshua is. But if you know you're playing Starbirth, you should just Starbirth first. You should just do it. And now it's going to be a little bit more telegraphed as to Luke as to what you got. Because you have way less cards in your hand now. Instead of from a 7-card hand, Starbirth up to a 7-card hand, play 2 cards. You're going Starbirth up to a 5-card hand, play two hands. So goes for the boss play, like I mentioned, goes for the boss play. So I like that. And if you think like you can make Luke could misplay because like Luke goes, well, you Starburst and then you played a bunch of cards. You probably Starbirth for 2 of those cards. You probably don't have the other cards. I'm gonna play like you don't have boss here because there's no way you could have Starbirth for boss with all those other cards you played. But you could have the boss here. And now Luke knows you held a card off Starbirth. Luke knows 100% that you held a card off Starbirth. Because you Starbirth, well, you always Starbirth here because your thing could get KO'd. So you're always going to Starbirth here as Joshua. But Luke knows 100% you're holding a card from Starbirth and now can make plays based around that. But maybe Luke's in an awkward situation where it's like, do I really want to play around them Starbirthing a card after they used Starbirth and then played 4 cards out of their hand? I'm just going to assume those are the double Starbirth cards and they didn't hold a card there because maybe they couldn't. But now Luke knows for sure, okay, one of those cards you held. Because I think Joshua even showed him. I think Joshua maybe even showed that they took the route on VMAX. No, Josh. So this is what you want to do. Is like Joshua took the 2 cards, but then doesn't just immediately play them out of 2 different stacks. Puts them all together, shuffles the hand, and then plays them. But what Joshua should have done at the beginning of the turn, we can go back like just a couple seconds real fast. What Joshua should have done right here, plays the Marnie, draws a hand. Joshua should have gone Starbirth, get 2 cards, have a 7-card hand, shuffle the hand, and then play all the cards out. And then maybe Luke doesn't even think, oh, maybe they kept a card off Starbirth. Like, right? Like, Luke could not even think about that because you, like, used Starbirth and then played 4 cards. Like, oh, of course you played the cards you got off Starbirth. You just played 4 cards after Starbirthing. But then you get to keep the card as Joshua, and maybe Luke doesn't even think about that. Like, it could be a difference maker. These kind of things aren't always going to make a difference, but they could make a difference. So, you always want to play every little thing that you can ever play into like that. You always want to play into it. All right. Over to Luke. We got the Ultra Ball in the hand. Research. There's a Jammer in the hand as well. All the Auroras should be in the deck as well. So I think we'll see Luke probably Primate Wisdom, the Jammer, and then Ultra Ball for the V-Star, and then KO the active. I would imagine so. We'll see. I don't know. Luke is agonizing over this, but I feel like this is not worth agonizing over. Oh, I was thinking about the Pumpkaboo as well, though, because of the Sinnoh. But now the Jammer's got to be the play. Like, yeah, I mean, Jammer's just the move here. Jammer's 100% the move. Okay, now we go get the V-Star, but we want to draw into the Jammer, don't we? Maybe we should have Ultra Balled first, actually, and got rid of the hiding energy. Actually, I think this is a misplay from... this is a mistake here from Luke. I think Luke should have Ultra Balled first, get rid of the hiding energy, go get the Lugia V-Star, put the Jammer on top of the deck, then play the research so we draw into the... Well, then it wouldn't work that much anyway, because we'd want to use Archeops before we play the research, even though it's unlikely that Archeops would change anything. Or yeah, I don't know. Whatever. There's 2 Jammers in the deck. Just draw into it, I guess is what we're going with here. Double Archeops. There might have been a better way to sequence that, but I'm too... Yeah, I can't think about it. Thinking about it's hurting my head, so let's stop thinking about it. Let's get some energy in play. Let's do that. Boom, we got the Powerfuls. We're getting the knockout on the Archeops. And then going to play a Research here. 2 Jammers in the deck. That's good enough. There might have been a better way to sequence this. Yeah, attach the Hiding down. Boom, we got a pivot to work with. Let's go. Research. But actually, this is a mistake on the pivot placement. The Hiding energy should actually be on the Luminion. Because you don't care. Maybe you care a little bit. Not really. Like, if Joshua has boss this turn, Joshua is going to boss up your Archeops. And if you have an Archeops with energy, Joshua is going to boss up your Archeops with energy. If Joshua bosses up your Luminion, they absolutely just threw, and now you have a chance to just win the game that turn. So this energy should actually be on the Luminion, because Joshua shouldn't boss your Luminion next turn. It should always be the Archeops. And if Joshua throws, then increases your chance of winning the game. So double Aurora in hand, not great for Luke. Of course, one of them can make their way back to the deck through the Primate Wisdom. And there we go. Punch, knockout on the Arceus. Okay, so it comes down to this for Joshua. We have the boss. The game isn't won yet, though, for Joshua. So we're going to see the boss up on the Archeops with the energy. I think we should probably hold the Temple of Sinnoh here as Joshua. I don't see a reason to play it. So I think, yeah, boom, boss. Archeops with energy. Boom, to the active. And then probably attach the fighting energy. You could attach the double turbo, I guess. I don't actually know. Doesn't matter. I don't know. A little bit of this, a little bit of that. Let's go with the fighting. I like that more. All right, knockout. Hold the Sinnoh. I like it. Okay, so now for Luke, your way to win is you have to set up the... You have to hope that Joshua doesn't have another boss, and you have to set up the Yveltal over 2 turns. So here as Luke, you could send up the Luminion probably and just give him the 2 prize cards. I don't know if that matters too much. I'd probably send up Luminion here as Luke. Leave that on the active. You go get the... You go search out your Yveltal, try and draw some cards, load it up with energy. Hope Joshua doesn't have the boss. If Joshua has the boss, you go to game 3. If Joshua doesn't have the boss, then you knock out next turn and hope that's enough for you to win the game. The only way Joshua could win without having boss next turn is probably if Joshua has, like, Mustard. Mustard plus attach into you knockout into Raihan. So that'd have to be a pretty crazy combo from Joshua. So just go get your Yveltal. Load it up. Try and draw some cards. This turn you have a Serena in the hand, so maybe you can draw a couple this turn. They actually Ultra Balled away the Research. I don't know if I like that play there from Luke. There's nothing suggesting that Joshua has another boss in hand overly. I guess you got to pick one boss out of the... You know Joshua probably held a boss off of... You know Joshua probably held a boss off of... I think Joshua plans to Marnie here. You know Joshua maybe held a boss off of Starbirth, I guess. I'd probably attach an Aurora here, though. I don't know if Marnie in here is actually correct as Luke, to be honest. I'm actually not sure. Because you know Joshua held 1 card, and it was probably boss. It was definitely boss. You know Joshua held boss off of Starbirth, but that doesn't mean Joshua has 2 boss in hand. It just means that they held 1 boss off of Starbirth, you know? I don't know. All right, 4 cards for Joshua. Joshua didn't have a boss in hand. Now Joshua could have a boss in hand. And if Joshua has a boss in hand, the game is just over. Tool Jammer is there for Luke. I like attaching it ahead of time. I would just go ahead and throw it down right now. Onto the Yveltal, because he probably does not have tool removal here for Joshua. All right, it's down. It's in play. And a Choice Belt to the Lugia and pass. Joshua draws into... Not boss. So we should just see attach pass here from Joshua. No! Why would you take the knockout? You just lose. If you... And actually, it would have mattered. It's possible Luke whiffed. It's possible Luke whiffed. Luke could have actually whiffed on the next turn. So I think Marnie was incorrect. If he held boss for off Starbirth, it's very unlikely he would have held 2, because if you Marnie, then you lose 1 less boss in the deck as an out. Depends how many Marnie were left for Luke, right? If Joshua doesn't take the KO there, Luke actually doesn't guarantee to have the win. Luke would have to go Primate Wisdom, hope to draw into a draw supporter or an energy to retreat the Luminion, and then Archeops load up the active. So Joshua attacking there, you always lose. I think Joshua had to have brain farted there. Or Joshua just didn't realize that there was a win condition by not attacking. Joshua was like, well, I always lose, I guess. Whatever. Fine. Attack. Had to be Joshua's thought process there. I always lose here anyways. All right, go ahead and attack. Because you know, you could just count Luke's energy and be like, oh, you have energy left. But because there was no way in Luke's hand to see more cards or retreat if there's no energy off the Primate Wisdom or draw supporter, then you could lose. Interesting. All right. Well, a little bit of a throw there at the end from Joshua. Probably wouldn't have one still. Was still in a pretty bad spot, but definitely still a throw nonetheless. And Luke gets the dub with the Lug in this one.